And howdy, everyone. It is Tilson Live. My name is Eric Allard, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, coming at you live on Facebook, live on YouTube, joined this week, as I am each and every week, by the one and only Dawn Dantzler, Tilson's Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience. Welcome, Dawn.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
It is going fantastic. Fall is in the air. Potentially real fall, not quite fake fall. We're moving through. It's overcast. Of course, it's November, so it's time.
I know, that's wild.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We are November of 2022, so we're excited. Again, it is 2:00. It is Tuesday. It is time for Tilson Live. We are here for you guys. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, here to talk to you about all things building on your land. So we're here to answer all your questions about design, about the process, about what does it take to get started, what are the steps involved, what should you expect. We can talk about timeframes, we can talk about interest rates, we can talk about design, financing, anything you want to talk about, site preparation. We are here to answer all of your questions with respect to building a home on your land. If you are thinking about building a home on a piece of property anywhere in Texas, particularly rural areas of Texas, you have come to the right space. Isn't that right, Dawn?
Absolutely. But today we also have a special treat for you. We're going to talk about a customer's home. Very excited to share the Noski family's home out in Waller County. They built a Whitney D and just did some things that were just super smart. So I'm really excited to share that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got to interact with Mark, Mr. Noski, through the process here and there. And it was really cool to kind of watch it all come together and walk through that experience with him. And so, we got some actually good advice from them and about ways that we can improve. And it's gone well. And I'm very, very grateful that they shared their home with us, and grateful for the job that, of course, Kelsey and David and the whole team did. But excited to see that. But guys, before we do all that, please jump in. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. Tell us what part of the process that you are in. If you're just getting started, if you're thinking about doing this, or if you're moving from another state, we get a lot of those folks too. But tell us where you're thinking about building, where you're watching from. We love to hear from you guys. Again, we are here for you. We're here to answer your questions and give you this content and this knowledge, because we genuinely do believe that the customers that have the best experience are the ones that have the most information. So we really do try to be as
100%.
transparent as we possibly can with what's going on and get you guys all the information you could possibly need. So jump in, tell us where you're watching from, tell us where you're building, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Give us a holler. Dawn, anybody joining us just yet?
Yes, we have Will coming in from Klondike. Hey, Will. We've got Samantha, who is watching from Mason County.
Beautiful.
Sorry, from Mason. And then we've got Will from Karnes County. I'm going to build in Poth and Wilson County. Awesome.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So a lot of hill country folks. And of course, we got deep Northeast Texas there, Mr. Will Rhodes. Good to see him as well. So yeah, y'all jump in. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. We're going to be covering a very cool customized Whitney. And if you have, there's probably nobody here watching that really enjoys an outdoor living space of any kind, a big, large covered patio. If you like those things.
Yeah, nobody likes lots of land.
Yeah, if you don't like those, and we get it, you're probably not going to like this house very much, because it's not like it has this gigantic rear covered porch on it. But if you're not into those things, I get it. No big deal.
Oh, we've got some folks coming in from other states.
Oh, cool.
We have Linda watching from Kuna, Idaho, building a Whitney D in Maypearl. She's visiting her grandbabies. Oh, yay.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I was like, you're away. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
That is a big draw.
Were you trick-or-treating?
Oh, yeah. Did you trick-or-treat?
Yeah. Did you trick-or-treat? What did they dress as? And then we have our friend coming in from Florida. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Hope you have some more questions. We're here to answer them. We're going to talk about some customizations that we did on this home, of course. But if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and ask them, because we'll get to them. We'll pause as we do intermittently, answer those questions about design, about time frame, about financing, about requirements, subdivision requirements. I had some Chinese food for lunch, so I've got a fortune. We can talk about fortunes and the fortune cookie. It's a pretty fitting one for Eric. We'll share it later in the show, but it's pretty awesome.
Ooh, a little teaser. Yep.
We're going to share it later in the show, because it comes very handy. So what are we going to be talking about today, Dawn? Guys, keep dropping in where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you're in. we love hearing from you guys, and we're going to get started on this presentation that Dawn put together. And there's some video clips.
There are video clips. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Whitney. So the Whitney D is a model that we have up in Waxahachie, and it is a super popular plan, very good plan. I love it. It's just a nice little plan with all the right amount of space in all the right areas. So just a good, efficient use of space and a great design. It's gorgeous. It's got that beautiful front porch, and then it's also got a back porch, which this family made even bigger than it already is. So.
Right.
Good space. So the Whitney as designed is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and it's 1,835 square feet. It's got the full, open concept. You enter the foyer and your kitchen is right there, open into your dining area and your family room. So everybody's a part of everything that's going on. It's got a nice corner pantry built into the kitchen, a nice middle island happening there. So just a great space to cook and do everything. It's got a really nice utility room that's usually on the front of the house, as you can see here. That also has extra space that you can put, fridge in. We've actually seen some people use it as like a desk space. It's a really good size utility room there. It has 2 bedrooms, two extra bedrooms that are exactly the same size. So no fighting there. And it's split front to back. So the bedrooms are not sharing a wall with each other. And then you've got that private master suite in the back of the home. That is a nice, big, beautiful room. This one actually does not come standard with a bathtub. It just has a gorgeous walk-in shower. But there is an option to have a bathtub if you want it, but as drawn, there's no bathtub in this plan for the master suite. But there are dual his and hers walk-in closets that are a nice little bonus space. And we'll talk a little bit about what the Noskis did to kind of change that up and make it fit their needs. So here's what we're going to talk about that they did, which I thought was kind of genius. They wanted a little bit of extra square footage, so they actually borrowed it from the front porch, which is a very smart way to do it, because that way you're keeping the footprint of the home exactly the same as it would have been normally, and you're just adding a little bit of extra living space. So it's not as expensive as if we were adding foundation and living space to it. So it was a smart thing. They still have that big front porch, but just a little bit smaller, because as you can see in the back, they did the extended rear covered porch. So they've got a very big backyard space. So they didn't need as much space in the front. They actually flipped the whole kitchen, dining room, utility space so that it's kind of the opposite of what we have in the model. They moved the utility room to the rear and put the kitchen, brought the kitchen forward, put the dining room in the front. So you actually end up with less of an open dining room into everything else. It's kind of secluded, but you end up with this nice big space that, like I mentioned, they added an extra foot into. And that did change up the layout of the island a little bit as well. That peninsula goes straight instead of curving. But still got all of the same kind of things in it. They also added in a fireplace to the model, to their plan. And then it did something pretty cool and interesting with their master closet, with that master bath closet space. They rearranged all of that to create a custom computer room that's for them. So it's a good study space for their son, just a good work from home space. But they wanted that extra computer room, didn't want it in the bedroom. So did some creative switcheroo in that area. So they ended up with just as much bathroom space, but they did give up one of those closets because they just felt the computer room was more important and just didn't need that space. And then everything else, they pretty much left the same, except for they did a fun ceiling treatment in their master bedroom, which was really nice.
Yeah, be a great little podcasting studio there right in the middle.
It would be, yeah.
Walls.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the changes they made, like you said, very, very efficient. What they've done, utilizing the square footage of the slab area and roof area that's already there, just converting it from porch to living. That's a great use of the space. And again, particularly when you have a big back porch like they've done, how big of a front porch do you really need? It's really more the aesthetics of the front elevation of the home. So,
the porch on that home is already so big. You don't I don't think you miss the extra foot that much. Yeah. Like you'll see when we show you the exterior, they still have room for rocking chairs and hanging out. So it's a good,
exactly. So yeah, if you got questions or comments about the design stuff that they did, pop them into the chat. We'd love to hear about it. And of course, we have obviously photos and videos of the stuff that they've done that we can show you later on.
Okay.
And speaking of which,
yes, let's go look at the exterior of this home.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Tilson Home Tours. I'm Kelsey and I'm here with Mark, and we are going to talk about his Whitney D home here in Waller County. So for starters, let's talk about the exterior. It doesn't look so much like our model Whitney home, but I noticed that I really love the colors of the outside. So tell me a little bit more about your design.
So we love the stone, so we went with the stone pattern on the outside and colors. We actually, of course, when you walk into the showroom of a Tilson and you say, hey, what colors do you have?
Yeah.
It's just so many options.
Yeah, there's a really big color chart that you can flip through.
Absolutely. So we went to Sherman-Williams, where y'all get your paint from, and we went through colors and said, what's gonna work for us? What do we like? What's gonna brighten up the home? Where do we want it darker at? And we just took samples and just matched them in different spots, and we really, just put it down to the T and said, look, these match the outside, these match the inside, we're gonna go with these colors.
I like that. And then for the outside of the home, I noticed that you have both the front and the back porch. Did you change anything about those porches?
So we did. So on the front porch, the standard Whitney for our model, we took a foot in of the front porch since we spent the extra money on the back porch, and we expanded our back porch. We took our front porch, we put a foot in from the took a foot in, and when we did that, it made our dining room bigger.
Yeah, and it also kept the square footage of your porch the same, so it really didn't cost anything extra.
No, it didn't. On the funds, the way you're spending your money, you took in a foot of the front porch that was already there.
Yeah.
So it didn't cost as much as it was to add square footage.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this kitchen.
All right.
so yeah, there you have it. I mean, just unbelievable. And again, thank you, Mark, for sharing this with us. But just love the way he described the experience actually of going in and for the color selections of, it's okay to have, and we have since, based on feedback from him and others, Kelsey went to that trouble of creating those inspiration board. What do they call it? I mess it up every time.
The mood boards, the design mood boards.
Yeah. Moods, not inspiration. It's moods.
Close enough. Same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, absolutely gorgeous. And as you can see, it's still that front porch is plenty of space, still gives you that same effect. They've got room for, decor and rocking chairs and all of that. So it was good to be able to bring that square footage inside and use it as a living area.
Very much.
And then this is the rear of their home, showing that big extended square rear porch. And we put the model in there as well, so you could see the size difference of how that changed up. But just absolutely gorgeous. Just love that space. And you can see their backyard is just massive and so peaceful. So it's a great space for them to hang out. And they have plenty of room back there.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right. Well, I think we do have some questions. So
let's put them up here and see.
Yeah. Let's start talking. All right. So my option addendum says the AC will be a minimum of 15 SEER. My model number seems to reflect 14. Why? Also, I understood there was only one large filter in the attic unit, but there's a filter and return air above the thermostat.
Yep. Great question. So glad you asked on that seasonal energy efficiency rating, because it's what overall is being achieved. So I believe on your home, we actually have, it's gas heat. So it's a little bit different calculation the way that it's done as opposed to the all electric units with a heat pump. So you're having gas heat, I believe like a 72,000 BTU furnace or to that effect. So when you're doing gas heat, we do what's called a matched system. We do matched system no matter what, but what you're seeing is a result of the fact that one part of the unit's gas. You got the condensing unit, and you got the coil, and then you have the actual furnace. So there's actually three components to your HVAC system, and the SEER rating is a little bit, because it's a matched system, it's a blend. So part of your equipment has a SEER rating of 16, for instance. Part of it has a SEER rating of 14. So the blend together is an output of 15 SEER, which is what's achieved. So I hope that, I don't know if that helps or not, but there, if you look at the manual J, we do what's called manual J calculation on it. And your cooling equipment, the Linux heating equipment and the cooling equipment, there are actual specific model numbers that we use that they marry up. And the condensing unit has a model number, the coil has a model number, and the furnace itself has a model number. And they all have slightly different SEER ratings, and the blend of them together is what we have to achieve that 15. So great question. On then going to your the return air. So the answer is there are return airs in your hallway, like there always have been, where your equipment is. There's also in the bedrooms, you'll have returns going back, and that's to keep the pressure balance the same, the temperature the same, the blend of the air, because the houses are real tight. But truly, no, the only filter that will be in the house is the 4-inch thick media filter that's up in the attic. You don't have to, there's no reason to have a filter in any of the returns, including the one that's there in the hallway. It is not necessary and it is not recommended. And I think it depends on where it's being done. They do a little bit different, but I don't even think that it's the hinged removable return air grill. I believe it's actually screwed to the ceiling. Like, it is not inviting a change of any kind. Like, don't go in there. Don't need to. The only place you need to have a filter is in that 4-inch thick media filter, and that's what needs to be changed out.
Okay, perfect. All right, we've got Sharon, who is building in Harper, Texas, Gillespie County, starting next year.
Awesome, Sharon. Thanks for joining us.
We've got Vidana from Corsicana. Our Gonzalez is moving along very nicely here. So happy. Awesome.
Sweet.
Glad to hear it. We've got Beatrice. Are there any chances the prices of houses will decrease as materials and housing prices go down?
Great question. So let's be glad to talk about that with you. The short answer is not from anything we're seeing. No. Not to say that maybe one day that could happen, but that's not what we saw happen in the last downturn, even. So what we have seen, and I don't mind trying to share this out if it'll work, is that this data is from to the degree that Don can share it out.
Okay.
But this is from the Texas A&M Real Estate Center online. So this is public knowledge, not hard to find. This is and this is strictly in Texas. Okay, this is a 31-year history of home prices in the state of Texas. All right, so in 30 years in Texas, this is the average home sales. That's the blue line, how many homes we're selling versus the average price of those homes. And in 30 years, what we can actually see is that the price went basically flat 1 year and went down 1 year in all 31 years of this history. And then it ate up all those gains immediately. So basically, it went down about $5,000 average for the entire state. It went average down 1 year, and then it came up $6,000 the following year. So all that to say that it's history doesn't say that's going to happen. Not to say that it can't, but that has not. It has happened one time in the last 30 years of Texas history. So, and I bring this up again. This is not Tilson data. This is Texas A&M Real Estate Center online data, and I wanted people to be armed with this so that if you have the mindset of we're going to wait for prices to go down, history is not on your side. It's not to say that it can't happen, but the odds are against that happening. What happens is your big production builders.
What you see with the blue line. Yeah.
They just build less stuff. Okay. So they deliberately draw back the number of homes that are available, because what happens is labor is not going to take any less money. And that was the other thing I was going to get into, is that the labor prices have not gone down. So the only thing that's gone down is lumber. That's it. Now that's the one you hear most about because it's the one that went up the most. The other point of that is no builder, commercial or residential, ever got their prices up to what lumber got up to. Like, lumber was up 400%. None of you would have absorbed that kind of an increase.
And I think now it's only up 200% from where we started.
Right, it's still high. And then anything that lumber has come down, concrete, insulation, copper, PVC, and labor have more than eaten up any of the savings. And that's what's interesting, the side of the narrative that, and we're glad you're here getting this information, because you're not being told that in the mainstream news. Okay. It's all you hear is housing has stopped, prices are going down, and lumber has crashed. Okay, home prices are going down in like Boise and Phoenix and maybe one or two pockets of Austin, maybe. Although I haven't seen any real data that points to that. But in the areas where on your land is building and master plan subdivisions that are happening in the Houston area and Dallas Fort Worth area and San Antonio area, nope, the prices have not gone down. Builders have quit building houses. Your production subdivision guys are not, instead of pouring 9 slabs a day, they're pouring like 2, but the prices aren't going down. Resale prices, maybe you'll see some of those go down. So used homes, but even then, people are just not putting them on the market. So
and we're somewhat back to normal, for lack of a better word.
Not even
in the resale market,
it's
like
still a seller's
the
market.
decrease you're seeing right now is seasonal. Like that's normal, that when you're outside of the spring, summer on a used home, those prices do tend to go down because most people who are buying a new house have children and they're worried about switching schools and doing all that. So they want to make that purchase in the spring or the summer, not in the fall when we're mid-school year. So you will seasonally naturally see a little bit of dip. And that's really honestly what we're seeing right now in the resale market. It's that kind of normalization. It's good headlines right now because I guess it caught people by surprise because we haven't had these fluctuations the last 2 years. We've just gone this way. Well, I guess this way. But we've gone up. So of course it's very newsworthy when things start going down, even though when you historically look at it, like it's normal for that to happen this time of year.
Yeah, you're still not at a 5-month. So 5-month supply of homes is considered equilibrium. It's neither a buyer nor seller's market. We're still nowhere near that anywhere in Texas. There's not a 5-month supply of anything.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. And Linda is confirming, yes, she did go trick-or-treating. Her oldest grandson was a werewolf. Her youngest twin grandsons were Bluey and Bingo. Awesome.
Okay.
And she says that we know she can't miss a Tilson Tuesday. So we appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us.
And we have a friend from YouTube. If I'm looking at this right, they basically made a San Jacinto, but omitted the flex room and slid the utility room into the San Jacinto's breakfast nook. Love it. I think you might be talking about a different house, the one that we sent out in our email, because that's what that one did. But yeah. We've got Barbara, hello from Sugarland, building a Whitney D in Hayes County, closing around Thanksgiving. Awesome. That's wonderful.
That's something great to be thankful for.
Yeah, we've got Patty, hi from Connecticut, just got back from Texas for the Cowboys game.
Oh, nice.
And while there, we met with Shelly to see this home. It's so beautiful and perfect for us, hoping to relocate and build this home soon. Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Can't wait to have you.
Yeah. We're being asked, how crazy can we get with customization for our home? So we have 3 rules. We have 3 rules about the customizations you can make. It's got to fit your budget. It's got to fit building code. And it has to fit the laws of physics. Those are the limits on the changes that you can make to our plans. There are a few things, like we know that our happiest customer is getting the things that, there are things you are good at and there are things that you are not good at. So design style wise, there are certain ways that we will build that we don't do other stuff. So we're not going to change our foundation systems. We're not going to do flat roofs. We're not, your person, if you're looking for the really modern looking houses,
glass and
metal and glass and concrete, like we're not good at that. So we're not going to put you or us through that. But if you want to move walls, if you want to, you saw what they did, they changed created a computer nook. We've taken the LaSalle master bath and put it in almost every single home plan that it will fit in. We can do pretty much anything that you're looking to do.
Yeah. But we do try to stop you if things go overboard. So don't take a check as a offense. We may say, that's one way to do it. Have you thought about blah, 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 blah.
Have you thought about this? Yeah, we may ask you, what are you trying to accomplish? Because there might be a better way to do it. All right, we've got Julie saying, I love their changes. Our Whitney D gets texture and paint this week, cabinets next week. Oh, very beautiful. Exciting. All right, we've got Tad. We have 5 acres in Polk County. Looking to build soon. We'll be reaching out soon. Been looking at floor plans. Good information, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Helpful. Yeah, thanks for watching.
So they're saying there is a filter in the hallway large return air box. So take it out. Not sure if the grate opens. We'll have to check and talk to builder. Thanks for the SEER info.
Yeah.
Could it be maybe that it was just for construction?
Yeah, we stick it in there for construction debris from time to time. That's not uncommon. And yeah, so the grate, it doesn't open per se, but it has screws in it. So if you wanted to pop a couple of those out, maybe after the first 30 days, pop the screws out, take it out, and then just go with the 4-inch thick media filter from there on out.
Yep. All right. Then we have Vidana asking, are you still seeing supply chain issues? And if so, where?
So the answer is some, not as many as we were, but yeah, we still are seeing some supply chain issues. PVC is a weird one. Flex duct is still a tough one. And then still the biggest issues is labor. I mean, it's part of the supply chain is getting labor. That's still a thing. I know that it will loosen up as production guys start to, but they're not stopping before the end of the year for sure. They're going to get everything they want, everything that's on the ground. They're going to want to have that closed before the end of the year. So the labor market is not loosening up. Maybe at some price points it is, but not at the largest price point that everybody's after, which is kind of where we build. So, but not nearly as many supply issues as we were seeing. Still some LVL stuff, some types of windows. And cabinets is another one. Specific cabinet parts. So some of the stuff we're needing for like cabinet repairs, little drawer glides here and there, and repair parts and pieces. Those are sometimes a little bit. There's a delay on those because they're devoting 100% of their production capacity to producing the cabinets that are ordered. So.
Okay.
So anyway, well, let's get to the video tour and back to the presentation.
All right. Yeah, let's look at this kitchen.
Shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so the cabinets are beautiful.
Thank you.
Was that something that you knew what you wanted for the cabinet design?
It wasn't.
Or?
It wasn't. We just we had picked out a lot of the design, and colors changed and companies changed. So we just kind of put 2 and 2 together and said, let's bring our colors in.
Yeah.
Let's match our cabinets and let's see what we like.
Yeah, and I love that you went with the Santa Cecilia granite.
Yes, we love it.
It's a very popular one, and it just looks great with pretty much any cabinet color.
Yep.
So in this kitchen, what did you change about the standard plan to make it fit your needs?
Right. So the standard kitchen and the design of the dining room, kitchen, and laundry room is totally different than what you see in the model. But there was some options, and we took those options and we threw in a little bit extra. And this is what we got. So we wanted a more wide open kitchen with a wide open space into our family room, dining room. And with us taking a foot into the front porch, it gave us a little bit bigger dining room.
Yeah,
and then
gave you that extra space.
It did. It gave us that extra space, and it opened everything up as well into a point where you're not just kind of traveling from doorway to doorway. You're actually going into you're just wide open space.
Yeah, it's very open. It's really cozy.
Yes.
And I just love the feeling when you walk into this house because you've got the high ceilings, you've got that fireplace in the living room, and then your kitchen is just the perfect spot to kind of gather everybody around.
Right, absolutely. My wife wanted an island. That was something she had to have.
Yeah,
so
she got her island.
She got her island, and she wanted cabinet space and places to put things in.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what we have here.
Yeah, and I love the size of this too. It's perfect.
Yep, and you can actually you can go on both sides of the island and put stuff in. It's just not like a just one-sided. So it gives us a lot more options. Same thing with the space here. She wanted a lot of counter space, stuff to put a mixer in her coffee pots and things like that.
Yeah, and then normally is this like a little bit curved?
Yes, it is. So as you come through the front door, you kind of go to a curved bar, and then you kind of walk around because the dining room in the model home is over here.
Yeah.
So we flipped it. We kind of by putting the laundry room here, it kind of closed things off, and it gave us a wide open kitchen, but it also gave us a lot of counter space.
Yeah, it designated kitchen space.
It did.
And then over here we have your dining room, so let's go check that out. I love the size of it in here.
We do. By adding that extra foot from the front porch, it gave us a little bit bigger dining room, and we can add more chairs. That's why we got a couple extra chairs, but you could comfortably fit 8 people here at any holiday or event or to entertain. It's just always right there.
Yeah, it's a great entertaining space.
It is. It's wide open, and it takes you right into the kitchen, so it's kind of open. And something extra we did ourselves, we decided not to go with curtains, and by adding the actual headers on top of our our windows for our blinds, they perfectly match our mantle.
Yeah, so you didn't have to stain the mantle at all to match the outside posts?
So that was on the bill to do them, and after the mantle got here, it was just so nice and natural. We said, leave it alone. It just definitely complemented the stone, and we said, let's just go with it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mantle. Let's go check out that fireplace.
Awesome.
All right.
Very cool. Yeah. And just the way that, tying everything like that together was really, really brilliant of them, the outside feature. And I love that, the way he mentioned when the stuff showed up, how, hey, we loved it and didn't want to mess with it. And that's okay. We're flexible like that. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, very nice. So this is, we talked about how they flipped it. So I wanted to show everybody what the kitchen and dining room looks like on the model, so you can kind of visualize if you haven't been here. So this is the standard layout as drawn for the Whitney. And if we go to the next page, we can see what they did with this family.
There we go. Sorry, I'm responding. I was hitting the keyboard.
So they flipped it so that the utility space is actually in the back, and then of course kitchen's still in the middle, but dining room in the front. And I just think this was such a smart idea to do. Just gives them, you got the same amount of overall space, but just kind of changes it up a little bit, makes that dining room a little bit more secluded, but the kitchen's still open into the living room, and puts the utility room in the back. So just a great use.
Yeah,
great use of space.
It's a great change. It's still, like I said, plenty open. Like they're not really losing anything there, and get a lot of cabinetry. And that's the thing about it. This is an 1,850 square foot house, and just the amount of cabinets that they got in here is 2,000, 2,200 square foot plus range of cabinetry. So great use of
and then you've still got that corner pantry too, so all the storage in there, and that huge utility room as well. Yep. So nice home in there. There's the utility room. So you can see they've got space for the freezer in there, as well as your washer dryer, and just great use. And I do love the headers that they did over the windows. They look so
really
pretty.
Cool. Yeah, very nice touch on the Noskis. Good use.
Yeah, it's very nice. All righty. Well, let's go and look at the next section. So we'll check out that living room.
Okay, so tell me more about this fireplace. It's beautiful.
So the fireplace, we definitely wanted to bring the stone in the house. So we said we're going to do a raised stone fireplace with the biggest fireplace we can get.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not a huge room, but it gives you a lot of space when you walk in the front door, the back door, anywhere you kind of look from any point of this living room. It gives you a big living room when you look at it.
Yeah, and with the changes that you made to the kitchen side of the house, it really opens up the living room and makes it a nice, cozy, inviting space.
It does. We really like it. I mean, it gives us everything that you would think a living room would have. So, if you're having people over, you've got plenty of room to walk around, talk, sit on the couch, and lots of seat space. And then
so when you had the mantle brought in here and you saw that, you just said, don't paint it.
Yes.
I like it the way it is. It looks great.
It was. I mean, that big, beautiful cedar mantle it just went with everything. And we said, look, here we go. Let's not stain it. So I was telling my wife back and forth, do we stain it? Do we not stain it? So we said, you know what? Let's just leave it like it is, because once you stain it, it's stained.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful with the stone. I mean, it really brings out kind of the warm tones.
Yeah, it does. It kind of complements the painting, the paint as well as the stone, and it just kind of balances everything out.
Yeah, and then tell me about this floor. It looks like hardwood.
It looks like hardwood, but it's not. It's tile. So it's a hardwood looking tile floor. So
easy to keep
clean. If you spill something, you wipe it up, and it's easy to take care of, and it gives you that wood look that everybody wants.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's go check out those secondary bedrooms.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So yeah, beautiful living room. I love the fireplace and all the stone, and the wood look tile, I think, is also so smart, because it's
something that we don't get to see very often. And I absolutely love it. I think it looks amazing. It is the closest thing to bulletproof as you can get on a floor covering for the you know, really rural lifestyle, it's almost impossible to beat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would love that so much. Let's see. We've got a couple of comments. Will is saying, very beautiful home. And I absolutely agree with him. It is. And then our friend from Florida is asking if everything is really big in Texas.
Well, I couldn't tell you. I've only ever lived in Texas. So, yeah, I mean, it just, it's kind of our thing, man. I mean, it's kind of our thing.
So as an East Coaster, what surprised me when I went to Texas is it really is. And this, like, you hear people talk about like the sky being bigger. It is. And like everything is so spread out compared to what you see here on the East Coast. It's just, but yeah, everything's big. Everything's kind of wide and spread out. Sharon agrees. Yes, it is.
But we're kind of modest on our gas stations, though. We don't go crazy on gas stations. I mean,
well, depending on where he is in Florida, he may know Buc-ee's.
It could be a Buc-ee's where you are.
Yeah.
If you can get to a Buc-ee's, that will kind of give you a scale of
that's normal in Texas.
How we feel as Texans of the way things ought to be. And we are imposing that will on other states at this point. We're like, no. Mm-hmm. This is how a gas station ought to be. Just so you know, This is the new standard. This is a gas station.
The other thing that's awesome, the parking spots are also bigger.
Well,
like they're actually like truck and SUV size. You're not like trying to squeeze into little parking spots everywhere. It's very nice. Let's see. We have a question. Do we find Coryell County challenging trying to gauge if our developers just rubbed them the wrong way?
Our developers just rubbed them the wrong. So, I mean, it depends what you compare it to. But from a permitting and all of that standpoint, absolutely not. No, Coryell County, Hamilton County, Lampasas County, like it's pretty simple. What is a challenge, or what has been a challenge of late, but it is easing up, is getting labor to go out there. Okay, so there have been plenty of business in so the areas that typically will pull from to get labor to go to Coryell County would be like Waco and Austin, North Austin. Okay, well, both of those have been very booming areas. I mean, we were real quiet about Waco because compared to Austin, maybe it hasn't had the explosive growth, but no one in the world has had the growth that Austin has had. So Waco is, by no means a slow market. So it's booming as well. So the challenge the last year and a half, 2 years is trying to get labor that's like, I have all this work here. Why would I drive to, Evant or Coryell County or those places over there?
Yeah, same. Birds have taken more than 18 months. Yeah.
So what you're finding is getting skilled labor and contractors go out there and do that. Because it's the same stuff we're putting in roads, right? You need a good dozer operator, good maintainer operator, dump truck drivers that have bandwidth and available hours. Don't forget, on a CDL, you can only drive so many hours a day, right? So many hours a week. Okay, well, if you are hauling material from an hour and a half away, that's an hour and a half there, hour and a half, that's 3 hours. Let's say you can only drive for 8 a day or 6 a day, depending on what you've done. That allows you to make like 2 trips, and that's it because it's so far out. So all those things play into when you are developing or getting things done out in a extremely rural area like that. So it's been very difficult to get those areas, but that we've seen that is easing up. I mean, we have a lot of homes under construction between Coryell, Hamilton, and Lampasas counties. We have a lot of houses under construction from people who have moved out of that Williamson, Burnett County area to the Northwest. They did well on selling their home in Leander or, Liberty Hill or Burnett or Marble Falls or Cedar Park or whatever, Georgetown, and have now moved out. And so the trade base is developing. We've developed our own trade base even on those. Not going to help with road development just yet, but that's part of what you're seeing is that big struggle of trying to get skilled labor out there. But it is coming.
Okay. We've got Vidana sharing that we all love Buc-ee's. Absolutely. I'm saying, looking at the map, Texas can take 2 Floridas, maybe a little more. Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
And also asking, if I get a wood fireplace, will I need to chop my own wood or do they sell them somewhere?
Oh, this is a great time of the year, man. You can drive down any road right now and buy firewood. Here's the trick, and you can thank me later, which you're welcome already. Check and see how cured or dried the firewood is. Don't just buy the first that you roll up on, but they'll be sold out of the back of a trailer on the side of the road, 10 or 20 bucks for a little stack. Those are typically negotiable depending on later in the day when they're getting ready to leave and pack up their little spot. So don't hesitate to negotiate with them, but also make sure that it's good dried firewood. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really hard to get it lit, and it's going to be very smoky. So something to think. You want it to be cured really a year or two if possible. But anyway, yeah, you can, if you want a good way to get fit, that's a great way to do it.
Chop your own, but you also need to wait for it to dry out before you burn
you do that for about 30 minutes and then be like, I'm going to go for a ride and I'm going to go find some.
I'm going to go buy this from now on. Then we have a question. Why don't more plans have garages? I get it. We can always add it. Just wondering why most don't include it.
Well, only about 50% of our customers want one, quite honestly. So it's a great question. Right about half of our customers, they are doing some type of a metal building, outbuilding, some type of shop that they want to have, and they don't want or need a attached garage. Now, 100% of our plans will accommodate a garage, and we already have a garage incorporated in them. So they all include garages. It just depends. You want it priced with one or priced without one. What I would flip it and ask other builders, why do you make everybody have a garage? That, if I'm building a 2,400 square foot metal building, I don't need a garage. So but yeah, every single one of them, and maybe we haven't done a great job of showing you, although the national awards say otherwise, that you can actually get in there and put a garage, various options of garage on every single one of our plans. There are some plans that the garage is integral to the design, like you really can't build it without the garage.
Right.
And so, but that's it's just a handful of our plans that's the case with.
Yeah, and a lot of times our customers take them out anyway. So that's
who are we to say what's integral and what's not?
Yeah, absolutely. And then Carol is asking, when will the Paladuro model home be complete?
Okay, well, let me look out the window here in San Marcos and see. We've not started yet. I double check and triple check. Yep, not yet. So we're actually releasing that one to the field next week, where we can start putting together the work orders, things to begin breaking ground. But you'll be hearing that. So you're looking at definitely well into 2023 before the Paladuro is complete.
Yep. But we'll have some great opportunities, just like with our Waco models, that you can kind of come out and see it under construction and see everything that's behind the walls that you see in the other models. So it's a good time to come visit once we start doing that. And then we have Julie sharing that we have a 130 square foot shop garage metal building, so we don't need a garage.
My guess is she means 1,300 square feet, probably.
13, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, case in point. I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. So thanks for sharing, Julie.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. All right. Well, let's look at the bedrooms in this computer niche that they've got going on.
Don't forget, I have a fortune I'm going to share.
Oh, do you want to share now? You want to wait?
No. Stick with us.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay, so for starters, I noticed that you had a little bit bigger than just your standard closet right here.
Right, so this was a hall closet. We turned it into a computer niche, something different. Took a little bit of the master closet out, but at the end of the day, we get a awesome little computer niche.
Yeah, it's perfect for homework and studies and all that. And then we've got your standard bathroom right here with the little linen closet and laundry hamper option, which I just love. I think it's a great little option.
Standard second bath with a big window, gives you lots of light.
Yeah, I love the light that comes in there. There's tons of natural light in this house. And then we've got one of your 3 bedrooms.
Right.
This one's more of just kind of a guest space.
Yep. Yes. So guest space, we turned it into the guest room. It could have been my son's room, but he decided on the bigger room, so we gave it to him.
Yep, makes sense.
Yep.
And then you've got the plugs behind the TVs
in
all of the bedrooms?
In all the bedrooms, except the master, we did plugs behind the TV, so that way the wires are not seen and it gives you more space to walk around your bed. You don't have something to hold your TV down. Yep.
I like that. And then your son's room is over here.
Yep. So my son's bedroom.
Oh, it's definitely bigger.
Definitely bigger. He wanted the smaller one, but we talked him into the bigger one, and he's glad he did.
Yeah, you're like, trust me, you're gonna want the bigger room.
Yep, at 10 years old, in 5 years, he's gonna want that space.
Yeah, well, and not only is it bigger just in the square footage, but it also has higher ceilings.
It does. So it gives you the higher ceiling in a room, and it's standard. It just came with this model, so we didn't have to pay any extra for that either. You know, it just it was just something that gives you that depth, that space that makes it look a lot bigger than it really is.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
Right. It's an awesome plan. It gives you a lot of square footage, and you just kind of you fall into it when you walk through it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go check out your master.
Okay.
All right.
Important to have your kids make decisions. Very important.
Yes. So yeah, two very, very good sized bedrooms, both with very large closets and just a lot of space. That's some big furniture in there too. Like that is a big
beautiful
room. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I also like that he did what he did with the outlets for the TVs, because that is very smart too. You know that's what you're going to put on that wall. Go ahead and hide that plug.
You bet.
And then the hallway bath, they didn't touch anything in there. Everything that's in there is how it comes. So that laundry hamper that we were talking about, that you pull, you drop your dirty clothes in, that is a standard part of the design, which I think is just amazing. All that cabinetry and then space to hold all your linens and everything. So good little bathroom. And then the custom computer niche. So like we kind of talked at the beginning, they created this space by sealing a little space out of the master closet and rearranging that master bedroom. But this kind of shows you, this would have been a hallway closet in the standard plan, but they borrowed some of that space and created a great little space to just do homework, or have your computer and have it out of the bedroom, get the electronics, get at least that electronics somewhere else.
Yep.
And just a good little space. If you only want one master closet, it's just a good thing to do. That's why they don't miss it, because they would have had two.
And you still have a walk-in closet. Like, it's not
right.
like
Yeah,
they're wanting for space in the master by any means. So I think it's great.
Which you'll see later. It's a huge closet. So I think this was a really smart way for them to create something that they knew that they needed. It's a good little space.
All right, guys, keep putting the questions and comments in. We got one or two more videos to show you, but we want to answer all your questions, comments, and we'll get to those. But in the interim, Dawn, let's spool it up.
Yeah, let's go look at the master suite.
Oh, this is an awesome room.
Yep, this is our master. So pretty standard, other than we lifted our ceiling and to give us that more optimal look.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you didn't just raise it to be higher, but it's got this nice little slope going on.
We like it. It just gives it just enough room and slope where it kind of just blends all in.
Yeah, that's really pretty. And then I have to point out your lawn, because it's immaculate. But
Thank you.
Out of every window in your house, you get to look at your beautiful property.
Appreciate
and
it.
Right
Thank you
here,
very
you
much.
can just look out. You see all the trees that you planted. You see your son running around doing hooligan things, whatever he's doing with the dog. And then, I mean, even the neighbors riding their horses.
Yep,
It's just so peaceful.
It is. It's and when you choose Tilson, this is kind of what you're looking for. You find a little piece of property that's just unique and something that you like, and we enjoy it, we love it, and yes, we definitely like our yard.
Yes, it's beautiful. And then we've got your suite in here.
It is.
Ooh, I like this space.
Yes. So master suite.
Mm-hmm.
Closet. We did lose a little bit of space, being that we pulled this wall in.
Right,
and,
to allow for space for that computer niche.
Right, we did, but we still got plenty of shelving, lots of place to put clothes, and
yeah, it's still really spacious.
Yeah, still spacious, and it gave us what we wanted. And to take a little bit from here, gave us that little computer niche. We like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works out great. And then you kept everything consistent with the cabinets and countertops, which looks really beautiful.
We did.
And then you don't have a bathtub.
Right, so we chose not to do a tub, and we just did a big walk-in shower. The little square window gave us some natural light. And,
yeah, that's really nice. You don't have to worry about neighbors peeking in or
right,
anything.
absolutely.
And then I like the shower floor tile that you got here and how you brought it up and did the little deco band.
We did. We just kind of brought everything together.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yep.
All right, well, let's head on back to the kitchen.
Okay.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, really impressive. Very impressive. And yeah, I mean, I went by the house a couple of times during construction, and the yard always looked like that.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time.
That props for the yard. That is not
Yeah.
easy. And that, yeah.
No, particularly given the drought that we had this summer, like that is not easy to do. That takes a lot of work. And also, we had nothing to do with this, but can I point out the proper way to store cowboy hats? Okay, anybody that you're
I did
putting your
not know
cowboy hats
that.
down, right side up, flat on something, you're either not a cowboy or you're a serial killer. There is no in between. You do not. This is the proper way to store cowboy hats, either in your vehicle or in your home. This is it, or just upside down at all.
Okay, everybody, for the record, the one on my shelf does not count because that is actually a hard hat.
The hard hat, that's allowed. She's not a serial killer.
Yes, that my hat's not going to fall. It's fine.
Thank you, Mark. Well done.
Good job. And I love the ceiling treatment in there.
Yes.
That just looks.
Yeah, it's hard to tell maybe
really
in the
nice.
video, but there's a coffer, or some people got a gambrel or inverted hip, but in essence, it slopes up on all four sides in this particular case, and so it slopes up from like 9 to either 10 or 10.6, something like that, to give some volume and a little bit of character in there. So I think it's a great addition. And I love the rustic furniture; like just completes the whole look with the balance. Yeah. Thank you. Put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. It happens all the time.
All right. So the master bath changes. I just wanted to talk about those. So basically, we kind of turned it sideways, and then, as I was mentioning, we took space out of the closet, had where we turned it to make that computer room, and of course, your fireplace also takes a little bit away from your master closet as well. But they ended up with the same amount of space as they would have. And I actually laughed a little bit to myself at the caption that went up on that master closet, because in an 1,800 square foot home, we're calling that a reduced sized closet. Like, that closet is still huge. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great space, lots of storage in there. So this is a really good layout change. And then the next one is just the pictures of them again, which just looks great. The placement of that window, like they're saying, gives you lots of light, but no need to worry about people looking in if you've got neighbors close to you. And lots of counter space, dual vanities, all that great stuff.
Yeah, you still get your hamper, so lots of store. People. We make a big deal about the hamper down here below, but there's like 3 shelves that are 24 inches deep on the other. Like, you got a lot of storage in here. All your towels, toiletries, things like that can go in there. You just got a lot of space. And yeah, very nice custom shower, dropped floor like we do, semi-frameless. This is pretty well standard in all of our homes. The way this shower is built. So we got the granite curb, and just a really nice, clean, custom look.
Yep, very nice. But we did have a couple questions come through, so let's
Fire
talk about those. Wrong button. Okay. We have a question about why does Tilson use post-tension foundation instead of standard rebar?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's nothing wrong with the rebar foundation necessarily. So they work well in a lot of applications. The beauty of the post-tension foundation is they work well in more applications. They're a little bit more forgiving than a rebar. So a rebar foundation, you got 2 types of energy going on, or strength going on. You have tensile strength and you have compression strength. So concrete has great compression strength when it's which is when something's pushed against itself. Steel has wonderful tensile strength. So bend, right? It's very hard to bend steel, or you can't break steel. Does that make sense? You can break concrete, but you can't break steel. You can compress or push on concrete. You cannot push on steel. It will bend. So in a rebar foundation, you're taking, we had concrete first, and it was great, and it gets hard, and that's wonderful. And then somebody had a great idea. It was like, hey, what if, the stuff does tend to break. There's 2 types of concrete that's cracked and concrete that's going to crack. That's the only 2 kinds of concrete there are. And so somebody had a great idea a little bit further along and said, hey, what if we threw some rebar, some steel inside this, and that we kind of leverage some of those properties of tensile strength in the concrete. And that did. So basically what the rebar does is when the concrete breaks, the rebar keeps it from falling apart. It holds it. So, rebar is steel rod that has little barbs on it. And so it's got texture to it that kind of the concrete it will adhere to, so that when the concrete breaks, it doesn't just crumble apart into pieces. But concrete's still going to break. So then somebody had an even better idea and said, well, wait a minute. If tensile strength of steel is good and compression strength, because what you're still not leveraging at all with rebar is the compression strength of the concrete. So somebody said, what if there was a way we could run a piece of steel from one end to the other, and we could somehow push the concrete together? And they said, there is a way. And so we run these post-tension cables front to back and left to right in a certain amount of spacings. Then that spacing varies. Sometimes it's 32, 34, 36 inches, whatever the engineer calls for. And sometime after the foundation is placed, after the concrete is placed, the post-tension company comes back and they run those cables up to about 30,000 PSI. So they have a hydraulic ram that they put on the end of that cable, and they pull, the cables are run through plastic that have grease in them. And we can literally pull those cables tight, every single one of them in both directions, so that now you're taking that concrete and you're pushing it against itself, instead of just, if you'd imagine two sawhorses and you had a piece of concrete, let's say 4-inch thick, 12-inch wide, 12-foot long piece of concrete. If it had nothing in it, the further I move those sawhorses away, eventually the weight of the concrete alone is going to break it. Okay. Putting rebar in it will help some. You can move the sawhorses a little further out. It's still going to break, but the rebar hold together. Well, if you take a piece of steel cable and run it through there at 30,000 PSI, you can move those jokers way far apart before something compromises. All of those foundation systems can fail. They can. But the post-tension, if done properly and properly maintained from a drainage and moisture standpoint, is the least likely to do so, because it is leveraging the properties, the tensile strength of steel and the compression strength of the concrete. And that is the shortest answer I can give.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Our Floorplan, yes, the Pelladuro is the one I'm waiting for. The Elevation E really caught my attention. I honestly don't think I'll be making much customization to it. The new would be very unusual in Tilson land, but we'll take it if you don't do a lot of customization. But yeah, that elevation is stunning, and I'm really excited about building that one. So hope to have, glad to get it going. We got Will, very nice. I got to go feed the critters. I'm hoping for the week of the 15th, weather depending. So y'all have a great and blessed week. Awesome. So we're planning to go out to Will's farm and do some filming. So it sounds like we're getting close.
Pretty stoked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. All righty. Well, let's go ahead and kind of finish up and let Mr. Noski kind of tell us about his whole experience.
Last call in for questions, comments, and we'll get to them. But we still have a special fortune.
Oh, yes. And we still have a fortune. Okay. Here we go.
It's a good one.
Well, thank you again for having me out here.
Absolutely.
Showing
You're
me
welcome.
all around your house. It's just beautiful.
Thank you so much.
What do you think has been your favorite part about the build process?
I think our favorite part was the design.
Yeah.
Working with Wendy and sales at the time, she gave us the options, and the questions she answered gave us everything we wanted. So it was never a no or we can't do it. It was always, we can make it work.
Yeah.
And
we'll figure it out.
Right. And the biggest thing is save money. Most people are thinking, hey, look, I'm building a house right now. It's tough. But, there's ways to save money and add square footage, just like we did.
Yep.
We added a lot of little square footage by just moving things around and not changing the overall square footage of the house.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were so creative with how you just kind of added here, took away here, but
Right.
It all ended up being the same
Yep.
as how you started.
Yep.
It's just a beautiful home, beautiful
you.
plan. Love
Appreciate
how
it.
you've decorated.
Thank you very much.
And we want to thank all of you for joining us as well for another episode of Tilson Home Tours, and we hope to someday soon make you part of the Tilson family.
All right.
Awesome. All right. So, we will entertain any and all questions at this time. Obviously, thank you to the Noski family for opening your home up to us. We're super grateful to you. Thank you for trusting us. I did notice in the very last part of that video clip, by the way, they didn't have a garage either. They have a big metal building in the back where the cars are. So it's a real thing. But yeah, thank y'all for sharing your home with us. Thank you, Kelsey, for going out there, and David for putting that together. And we appreciate, obviously, each and every one of you for watching this, I'm going to leave you with some words to live by. It's not really a fortune, but it was in the fortune cookie. So it says, be smart, but never show it. See,
interesting.
All this time, y'all thought I was just acting dumb. Not so. Just living by some wise words. All right. So,
all right.
I think Mark is actually left us a little comment here. So,
oh, yay. Checking in late. Just wanted to say thank you, Tilson family, for making our dreams come true. Definitely an exciting adventure. Thanks. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you very much. Again, thank you to everybody for watching. We have all kinds of places you can go to get more information. We'll obviously be back here next week with another one of these installments. Tell us. We love hearing from you guys. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. Our website's got tons of information. We got new home specialists there ready to answer questions for you. We got 12 design centers open 7 days a week, where you can tour model homes, one of which you can tour models under construction. We got a lot of seminars coming up in various places. So that
let's see. Talon wants everybody to know they're hosting a seminar November 5th in San Marcos at 2 p.m. Don't forget to register on the website. That's going to be a good one. It's about land prep. And Talon's doing that. We also have a Notes of Love event coming up on November 12th in Waco, where we're going to actually write on the framing of the models. And somebody you guys all know is going to actually be giving that seminar. So if you want to meet Eric in person, he'll be there.
He's going to be there demonstrating the be smart, but never show it.
Yeah, and Vidana has another version of that. I had a college instructor who once told me, never let anyone know your true potential. That way they won't expect it.
There you go. That's another good words to live by. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. So thanks a lot for watching. We genuinely hope that you got some information out of this. We hope it was helpful to you. Ask us any questions anytime you want to. We love hearing from you guys. And until next time, we genuinely soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.